Hey everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and apparently I'm a faggot. With me as always is Scribe. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, sailor.
And the lovely SDA is joining us. Say hi.
Hi.
We'll come back to the faggot thing later, but how is everybody today?
I'm good.
You tell me, how do I sound?
You sound a lot less like a big fat pot smoking hippie.
I was gonna say, you sound closer to normal, but you still sound a little deeper
Yeah,
than usual.
I'm a little rough, as it were. So it's not nearly as bad as yesterday, but yeah, it usually takes a couple of days for us to wear off. Like I'm feeling relatively fine. I'm still probably gonna have to mute myself here and there to clear my throat, but I am functional. I still have a little bit of that radio voice. So yeah,
I am fully functional.
I am fully functional.
Yeah. Rough day around here, but nothing to stop a stream for. So what do we got for news?
Let's see. It wasn't a really big day in news, but I have a couple of stories here. First and foremost, a Trump story, because of course we have to start with Trump.
Yay!
CNN Politics asked the question, can Trump block Comey from testifying? White House could try to invoke executive privilege. And let's see. Former FBI Director James Comey will have the nation captivated next Thursday when he testifies before a Senate panel about the stunning accusations that President Donald Trump pressured him to end his investigation into his former national security advisor's ties to Russia. But can Trump stop Comey from talking? White House counselor Kellyanne Conway said Friday that, quote, the president will make that decision, unquote, raising the prospect that the White House may try to invoke executive privilege over Comey's conversations with Trump. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said later Friday the decision by the White House counsel's office hasn't been made yet. Quote, that committee hearing was just notice. I'm reading it as it's written, just notice, and I think obviously it has got to be reviewed, he said. When pressed on that not being a no, Spicer added, literally, my understanding is the date for that hearing was just set. I have not spoken to counsel yet. I don't know how they're going to respond.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Legal experts, however, are skeptical the president could successfully invoke the privilege to muzzle Comey because Trump has already written a letter about their conversations, talked about them publicly, and even tweeted about them. In other words, they say the president can't use the privilege as a sword in one country and another. And then they go over what executive privilege actually is. Do you guys want to know what executive privilege is?
I was around for the Clinton thing. I'm well aware, but if you'd like to let our audience know, sure.
Sure. What is executive privilege? The concept of executive privilege stems from the idea that the president must be able to enjoy frank communications with cabinet members and advisors. Dating back to 1974 in U.S. versus Nixon, the U.S. Supreme Court recognized the president and those who assist him must be free to explore alternatives in the process of shaping policy and to do so in a way many would be unwilling to express except privately. But the privilege isn't absolute, and the court has says it has limits. Indeed, it can be overcome upon a proper showing of need for the evidence at issue in a criminal trial or grand jury proceedings, and the D.C. Circuit has held that the privilege disappears altogether when there is any reason to believe government misconduct occurred. If Comey were still the FBI director, the president could presumably simply order him not to testify, but now he's a private citizen, complicating Trump's ability to restrict his testimony. A Senate Democratic source with knowledge of the Intelligence Committee's actions cited the fact Comey no longer works for the federal government as a reason executive privilege wouldn't apply in this case.
Well, it would still apply because it's about his ability to talk to them while they're on the job. However, I hate executive privilege, and I hope it's not invoked here.
Has the privilege been waived, they asked. The problem for Trump trying to quiet Comey is the fact that he's already opened the door to their conversations, arguably waiving a claim of executive privilege. The president has written about 3 separate occasions he had with Comey, conversations he had with Comey about whether he was under investigation. He further elaborated on those conversations in a televised interview with NBC, and he tweeted about them. Harvard law professor Noah Feldman doubts Trump has the strongest argument in light of these facts, but it will likely depend on the scope of the assertion. That's basically it.
Thank you so much, Snowstorm. Here comes your stripper money monkey. I appreciate it.
Yay.
The problem with that is the rulings that happened over the Lois Lerner thing. This is a woman who, under oath, actually gave a direct statement and then claimed the Fifth Amendment. So just speaking out loud doesn't necessarily mean that you've waived anything anymore. I don't think the circuit court is going to be as lenient as they were under Clinton with executive privilege, because let's be honest, the circuit court there is a bit liberal. But again, I hope they don't invoke it, because it's actually fucking stupid. If these are people working for us, yes, the president needs to be able to talk to his advisors, but this is past tense. This isn't some national security issue. Either he's being an ass or he wasn't, and let's hear what he has to say. Just my thoughts. Hello?
Am I roboting or is the rest of you roboting?
You were roboting just a little bit earlier.
Okay, because you cut out completely for me just a second ago. I didn't hear anything you said.
Did you guys
SDA?
chat? Who can you hear?
I mean, I heard
Yeah, SDA's.
you were roboting a little bit. It wasn't bad, which is
Who?
why I didn't say anything. But
You.
Me? Okay. Am I coherent now?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Terry. You escaped Lady Monkey's gravitational pull long enough to host a stream. Good work, Monkey. Thank you. Fuckers trying to get me in more trouble.
I love new memes, new stream memes.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have other Trump news in that the now victim, Kathy Griffin, says that Trump is trying to ruin her life after photo scandal.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, the video of her little speech is more entertaining than I'm going to be. So if you have a chance to find it and watch it, I'd watch that. But
it's funny.
For the sake of information, Kathy Griffin is fighting back against the abuse and death threats she has received in light of a controversial image released earlier this week that showed the comedian holding up a bloody head resembling that of President Donald Trump. In a news conference on Friday, Griffin's attorney Lisa Bloom accused Trump and his family of, quote, using their power to target her. I think maybe her releasing that thing nationally is what caused her to become a target of people's ire. That's just my opinion.
I mean, okay, but target her as in they were like, hey, you're a meanie butt, but you're the one who posted a picture of yourself holding somebody else's head. I mean, if anybody's targeting somebody, it's you, sweetie.
Yeah,
let's see.
He was
She
responding.
Said,
No, I'm sorry. He was responding. He didn't target her. He was responding to what she did. So let's be, go ahead. I'm sorry.
She said, if you don't stand up, you get run over, Griffin said. What's happening to me has never happened in this great country. A sitting president of the U.S. is personally trying to ruin my life forever. Bloom said the comedian was contacted by the U.S. Secret Service and said she has retained a criminal lawyer. Quote, as a result of the first family bullying her, she has been vilified, getting death threats, fired from multiple jobs, and had multiple events canceled by her own hand.
The other thing
it's all Trump's doing.
Is that if any of us were to post a picture of ourselves that depicted us with the president's head, and the Secret Service caught wind of that, we would get questioned by them too.
No, I don't know if it's in this statement or not, but she has doubled down, and it's sexist. If a male comedian had done this,
they would have been questioned.
Nope, not according to Kathy.
Well, she's wrong.
No.
Let's see. Bloom is a victims' rights attorney, of course she is, who is best known for representing high-profile clients, including former Fox News contributor Wendy Walsh, who accused the network's former host Bill O'Reilly of sexual harassment. The photos in question were released on Tuesday and quickly drew backlash by people on social media. Griffin apologized for the disturbing photos taken by provocative celebrity photographer Tyler Shields later that day. I beg for your forgiveness, she said. I went too far in a video posted to Instagram late Tuesday. I made a mistake and I was wrong. Now, here's the part that doesn't make any sense. Well, amongst everything else, this one doesn't. This is her lawyer talking. Kathy never imagined it could be misinterpreted as a threat of violence against Trump. That was never what she intended, unquote.
What was the intention?
Yeah.
I guess the intention was just to be provocative, but you never imagined that holding up the president's head could maybe be interpreted as a threat. Especially considering that, given that he's the sitting president, Secret Service tends to take that shit pretty seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not weird for them to take that seriously.
No, it's not. It happens all the time. And I tried warning people with Trump coming in because the same thing happened with Obama. A lot of people who thought they were just making jokes were investigated for the violent nature of the jokes.
Yeah.
There's no statement
let's
to
see.
be made with her holding up Trump's bloody head. It's not humorous. It's not a political commentary. It was just a stupid thing she did, and she did it. Nobody else did it to her.
Yeah. Trump said of the photos that Griffin, quote, should be ashamed of herself. On Wednesday, Griffin was fired from her gig on CNN program, which she had co-hosted along Anderson Cooper since 2007. Griffin said her termination was hurtful. Griffin also lost an endorsement deal with Squatty Potty, a line of bathroom footstools, and has had at least 5 of her stand-up gigs canceled since the photos were released. Griffin and Bloom believe the comedian has received harsher backlash because she is female. This is a woman thing, Griffin said. Although Griffin tearfully apologized again during her press conference, she said that she will continue to use Trump as fodder for her comedic material. I'm going to make fun of him even more now, she said.
Fine, make fun of him, but what was the joke there? What was the fucking joke?
Yeah, I'd like to know the punchline.
Now, again, I don't think she should be in any legal trouble for what she did. The Secret Service will look at it and hopefully just go, she was being stupid. And I support her right to be fucking stupid. But don't be stupid and then get mad when people are going, that was really fucking dumb.
It's not a woman thing either. If anything, I would actually imagine that from a male comedian, people would take it as more of a serious direct threat than from a female, because men are a little scarier. Sorry, don't kill me, MRAs. It's just that men are kind of big and they like play with guns more often. So, you know. So I don't think it has anything to do with her gender. I just think it has to do with the fact that it was fucking stupid and he's the sitting president. And maybe don't depict yourself cutting off the head of the sitting president. And then maybe the Secret Service won't bother you. It's just a thought. And there's no reason why you have to do that to just say President Trump is a big poo-poo head and I don't like him. LOL. Like that's not the same. There's no reason why you have to do that to say that. It's not related at all.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Fucking stupid. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I like when you get all upset. Scribe, anything else?
That's pretty much the headliner type news. I've got some potpourri stuff after this, and then we can move into hashtag stuff. And you'll forgive me if I'm a little quiet tonight. I'm trying to conserve my voice. I think I might be losing it. I'm not sure, though. So we'll see. If I do suddenly cut out for realsies, I'll bow out of the stream rather than sound like a complete frog to everybody. More so than usual.
Type 1 in the chat if you're ready to fap to Scribe's voice right now.
Oh, dear God. In the meantime, our potpourri topics or categories, German rock terror, deadly tattoo, Manila
tattoo.
Deadly tattoo. Let's see. Man dies after swimming with new tattoo. It all started simply enough. A 31-year-old man went to get a tattoo on his right leg. Beneath an illustration of a cross and hands in prayer, the words, "Jesus is my life," were written in cursive. As tattoo artists will tell you, there are some critically important rules to follow in the hours and days after getting inked. Most important, keeping your body art clean and covered while the skin has a heightened susceptibility to bacterial infection. Every time a tattoo gun pierces your skin, the needle is opening a wound and another pathway by which germs can enter your body. The larger the tattoo, the more you increase your risk of possible infection. After removing the original bandage and gently cleaning a new tattoo, the conventional advice is to apply antibacterial ointment for protection. Continue doing this multiple times a day for the next few days until skin has ample time to heal. The number one thing to avoid while a tattoo heals is soaking it. That means quick showers, no baths, and certainly no swimming. Experts warn to avoid prolonged exposure to potentially dirty water while your skin repairs itself. And that's where the story of the 31-year-old man takes a turn for the worse. A report published last week in BMJ Case Reports, a prominent peer-reviewed medical journal, reveals only that the subject was a Latino man living in Texas. In a typical case study, patients are referred to by their initials. In this case, what happened was so rare, the authors declined to provide even that to prevent anyone from figuring out his identity. 5 days after getting his tattoo, the man decided to go for a swim in the Gulf of Mexico. Just 3 days after that, he was admitted to Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas with severe pain in both of his legs and feet. His symptoms included a fever, chills, and redness around his tattoo and elsewhere on his legs. A lot of our patients, when they come to our institution, come in sick, and he was certainly among the sicker of the patients that we've had come in, said Dr. Nicholas Hendren, an internal medicine resident at University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center and lead author of the report. He said he had a lot of pain in his right. Yeah.
I'm giggling because he said the patients that come in there are the worst, and Parkland is where Kennedy went. So
that is true.
Yeah, that
is also true. Ones. Yes, big giant head wounds. Within a few hours, things had progressed pretty quickly, he said. There's darkening skin changes, more bruising, more discoloration, what we call bullae, or mounds of fluid that were starting to collect on his legs, which, of course, is very alarming to anyone, as it was to us. So anyway, moving on, jumping ahead a little bit. The man tested positive for Vibrio vulnificus, a bacterium commonly found in coastal ocean water. The CDC estimates that this infection, called vibriosis, causes 80,000 illnesses and 100 deaths every year in the United States. The strongest risk factors are liver disease, cancer, diabetes, HIV, and thalassemia, a rare blood disorder. Let's see. For the next few weeks, the man was kept largely sedated. After initial pessimism about the man's prognosis, Hendren and his colleagues became cautiously optimistic. The patient was removed from the breathing machine 18 days after being admitted to the hospital and began aggressive rehabilitation. Over the next month, however, the man's condition slowly began to worsen. About 2 months after he was first admitted to the hospital, he died of septic shock. And that's basically where it ends. There's some photos on the story that show the progression of his wounds. It's not pretty. Yeah, it's not pretty. You can, if anybody wants to find it, they can Google it themselves for it. But yeah, the short version is when they tell you to keep your tattoo clean and free of stuff, do it.
Yeah,
like maybe don't go cut yourself open and then like sit in the ocean for a while. Just a thought.
Okay, so we have German rock terror. We have Manila.
There?
Yeah.
Space Bitch, thank you for the $5 donation. Oh, it just rolled up too fast. Hope you're all having a good Friday. Cheers, niggas. What up, monkey?
Space Bitch.
Space Bitch. Thank you so much.
Galaxy
what were other categories? I'm sorry.
German rock terror, Manila casino update, let's see, train ring theft, and Richard Spencer.
Ring theft.
Man, this is probably the lowest of the low of things you can do.
Okay.
Man arrested in theft of Portland train victim's ring. A homeless man took the wedding ring off the finger of a man who died in last week's knife attack aboard a Portland train. George Chisnegi was wearing Ricky Best's ring when officers arrested him Friday morning beneath an overpass. The 51-year-old man will be arraigned Monday on charges of theft, tampering with physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. It's just unconscionable what he did, police said.
Yeah.
Best 53 was one of 3 men who were stabbed May 26th after confronting his passenger who went into a racist rant. Best died on the train, and another victim died at the hospital. In chaos, the police said Chishegi removed the ring from Best's finger and stole his backpack. He said surveillance video supports the charges. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to differ just a little with you guys. He's a homeless guy, so him stealing that, I don't have a huge problem with. If he had sold it and like used the money to get food, that he was arrested still wearing it, I have a problem with. It's dirty. I get that it is, but I mean, this is a guy who lives on the street and has no money. And so if he was doing it to, help himself, I can kind of forgive that. Stealing it so he could bling out is just a little dicky.
Wasn't there another story about this, about the guy who lived or something?
I don't know.
Okay.
Was there?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
I thought I saw it where he was like pissy at like everybody who donated or something.
Well, if you can find that one and read it, that'd be cool. I don't know. I didn't see anything like that, but I wasn't looking for anything. I just came across what I found.
I want to address 2 comments in the comment section here. Zenith said, still illegal monkey. Absolutely it is. I still think he should be arrested for it. I can just kind of understand it if he was doing it so he could eat. And Peterbilt said, the dead guy doesn't care. He doesn't, but his family probably does. So anyway.
So this is from Heat Street. But give me 1 second.
Oh my God, Chatmore just said, that's how I feel about necrophilia. I'm not using the damn thing anymore. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Horrible,
But this
awesome.
he's just chronicling a 6-minute video that he posted. So I'll just this is by EMI. Survivor of the Portland train stabbing has denounced people who have donated money to support him and the families of the 2 other men who were fatally injured in the violent attack. A lone suspect, Jeremy Christian, is alleged to have stabbed the 3 men when they attempted to calm him down during an anti-Muslim rant at the 2 young women on the train. In a 6-minute-long emotional video, Fletcher accused the city of Portland of having a white savior complex for giving more money to him and the families of the 2 men who died rather than the 2 women who were not injured during the altercation.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Crowdfunding pages set up for the families of Fletcher, Rick Best, and I don't know how to pronounce that, the other guy who died, received a combined total of $800,000, which I think is great because funerals are fucking expensive. And so is that massive slice on your neck, sir. Anyway. Fletcher insists that the real victims are the women. No, they're not. Sorry. That's not in the article. That was me. Who he says must be traumatized from being targets of hate and from the deaths of the 2 men who tried to intervene. And then this is a quote. He said, quote, "We in Portland have this weird tendency to continue patterns that we've done forever. And one of them is the same old, just to put it bluntly, white savior complex. I think it is immensely morally wrong and irresponsible how much money we have gotten as opposed to how much support, money, love, and kindness that has been given to that little girl. These people need to be reminded, that this is, I'm sorry. I'm just too mad. These people need to be reminded that this is about them, that they are the real victims here."
Who's the white savior here?
He added and shared a link to the crowdfunding page for 2 women, which has since received $116,000 in donations. Donations for fucking what? Nothing happened to them. I mean, I get it. Being yelled at, that's bad. Bad for you. You're a douche nozzle. But you're not the victim of a stabbing. Like, your neck isn't sliced open. And you're not dead like the 2 other guys. How are they the real victims? I mean, if you really want to talk about people who are the real victims, maybe their families, maybe their friends who lost them because they were just good people. And, maybe they would have been more grateful for the help that they got had they lived than you are, because you're just a dick. How dare people help? Like, what is wrong with you?
Be right back, guys.
I mean, $116,000 for what?
Emotional distress.
That's ridiculous.
And when he's talking about the white savior complex, I mean, how is he not? First off, what did he do when these ladies were being yelled at? He stepped in to try to stop it. He's the white savior. What is he doing now that money is coming to the victims and the victims' families? He's trying to stand up for them because he's a white savior. I mean, you can't have it both ways here, Buckaroo. I mean, good for you that you tried to stop this violent guy from doing shit. There's nothing, wrong with that. But now you're going to say that people are wrong to be donating money to help you, the people who are actually injured in the thing. They may be traumatized. I'm not going to deny it. They may be scared and everything else. That they were yelled at effectively and not physically harmed in any way, that's something that people shouldn't feel charitable about? What?
Well, and the other thing too is that when it comes to the men who died, that undoubtedly puts, because they were younger men with families, that undoubtedly puts their families in financial straits.
Yeah.
And of course, funerals are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And being at least a little bit financially secure while you kind of put your life back together is incredibly helpful. Whereas these women, what?
But they got insulted.
It does. I mean, but you're not dead. Your family isn't dead.
This is the ultimate
You are
case of
fine.
words hurting worse than anything else. I mean, this
Yeah,
man's literally cut from his ear down to his nipple on the other side of his body, and he's whining about somebody insulted. I hate people.
Like, how can you? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it severed something important, and there's no more blood flow to his brain, because that's fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but you are more of a victim. Sorry, Zenith. Continue.
Let's just say thank you, Zenith. Here's my filthy white savior money. I appreciate it. I was called. I had bad words said to me today, so you should donate to me because of that.
Yay. Victim complex.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you on that. That's.
And you know what? If that's how he feels, fabulous. More money for the victim, for the other victims, and you can go fuck yourself. So hopefully he gives the money to the other people.
Oh, he'll probably donate it to the women. Watch.
No, they just shouldn't give it to him in the first place. Just take it back. Just be like, never mind. Since you don't want it, we'll take this. Because, okay, here's the other thing. If he takes that money and he gives it to the women, that's not who people donated to. People donated to cover the medical costs and funeral costs for the actual victims of the incident.
I'm just saying that's what he'll probably do because he's an idiot. And at that point, it is his money, so.
Well, hopefully they haven't given him anything yet, and they just don't. Or if they do it, they just directly pay off his medical bills and don't actually give him any money directly. I don't know. Something to stop him from being an idiot and from wasting the money that people graciously donated to him.
Sorry, this is America. You can't stop somebody from being an idiot.
That's true. That's true. We saw Kathy Griffin do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Sarah Bunch. Beat me, senpai. Words cause boo-boos. Yes, they do. And I'm very upset today.
I can do that. Hey, Sarah. Spank. Spank, spank. Spank, spank, spank.
Ooh, with the sexy Scribe voice, too.
Oh, yeah.
Timing is everything.
Oh, my.
What were our other potpourri choices? Not that I'm not enjoying SDA losing her mind, because that's awesome.
Right? German Rock Terror, Manila Casino Update, and Richard Spencer Casino. So, unlike the story I read last night, where the initial reports from the authorities was that nobody was harmed, actually there were a lot of people that were harmed in the Manila Casino attack. The Islamic State group says one of its operatives carried out killing and hurting until he died a martyr at a Manila casino complex. The statement was issued by the group Friday. Earlier Friday, a gunman entered the Resorts World Manila complex and set fire to the gambling tables, unleashing smoke that authorities say killed 36 people.
Damn.
The gunman fled with $2 million in stolen casino chips, then forced his way into a room in an adjoining hotel and killed himself. Philippine authorities have said that they suspect the man was trying to rob the casino and that there's no evidence it was a terrorist attack. So ISIS might just be piggybacking for the sake of things. But unlike what I was reading last night, 36 people died of apparent smoke inhalation. So that's awful as fuck. Yeah. So then we have German Rock Terror and Richard Spencer.
The one that's not Richard Spencer.
Okay. German rock festival evacuated because of terror threat. A terrorist threat led to the evacuation of tens of thousands of music fans Friday from the Rock am Ring festival in Nuremberg, Germany, police and concert organizers said. The organizers of Rock am Ring is in close coordination with police have suspended the festival for today. This is based on concrete evidence of a possible terror threat. Investigations are currently underway. Because of the last attack on a concert in Manchester, the security concept for Rock am Ring was modified in advance, and the number of security officers was significantly increased to around 1,200. Since a threat could not be ruled out, all necessary measures were taken immediately. And then they go over the Manchester bombing. So, I remember this band. So at the concert, Rammstein and Liam Gallagher were scheduled to perform Friday. And then Die Toten Hosen was scheduled to play Saturday. Die Toten Hosen, the Dead Pants. We heard about this band when I was in German class in high school. Die Toten Hosen. Yeah, so the other thing, I don't have a story up for it, but apparently, so the Ariana Grande sort of benefit concert that she's going to put on or is putting on for the victims of the Manchester bombing.
Mm-hmm.
I read somewhere that like something like 10,000 people falsely claimed to be victims of the Manchester bombing so they could get free tickets.
Nice. Dude,
Hello?
I have to...
Hello?
Hello? Can you not hear us?
Am I dead?
Scribe?
Can he not hear us?
I'm guessing he can't.
I can't hear anybody. Great.
Well, we've lost Scribbles for a moment. I guess we're going to have to miss out on Richard Spencer.
What did Richard Spencer do?
I don't know.
Now I can hear everybody. What the hell happened?
We could hear
I don't
you.
know, but
You
we
couldn't
could hear
us.
you.
I couldn't hear a goddamn thing. That was really weird. So, did you hear everything I was saying?
Yeah, we heard everything.
Okay. I don't know what. All sound suddenly dropped out for me. I have no idea what happened.
Oh, somebody said I'm quite quiet. I'm sorry about that. Is that better, guys?
I don't know.
Uh,
To me.
And okay, so the last story was Richard Spencer.
What did Dick do?
Well, Richard Spencer has been posted to Secretary of Navy.
What?
His name is Richard Spencer, and he's a former financial industry executive. Spencer is also a former Marine Corps captain. The White House says Spencer most recently was managing partner of Fall Creek Management, a privately held management consulting company in Wyoming. It's not that Richard Spencer. It's a different Richard Spencer.
Different Dick. Okay.
But I just said Richard Spencer. I figured everybody would think it was Richard Spencer, the white nationalist, and I thought I'd just pull a little joke on everybody.
I see what you did there.
So that's
Yeah,
all there is. Yeah,
that
there's
means-
nothing exciting about the story other than the fact that the guy's name is Richard Spencer, and he's now nominated as Secretary of Navy.
I bet you could have a lot of fun with SJWs, though,
Probably.
with just the headline.
Yeah, Richard Spencer about to join the Trump administration.
Oh, man. Did we have anything on MSS News today? I haven't had a chance to look.
Well, let's take a look, because I know people have been posting stuff in the last little while.
Guys, if you'd like
survey
us to
says-
talk about a story or consider talking about a story, hit us up at hashtag MSS News on Twitter.
Let's see. There's a Mashisu. Thank you. Ranting Monkey will me gently stroking the monkey dick make you feel better.
Probably.
Monkey dick.
Monkey Dick. Jim Jones. Movies. Chewbacca's black.
Okay, so this one comes from Irate Prostrate, and it is a solidarity statement by Evergreen faculty at Evergreen State College. And this was posted today. And signed by a whole raft of faculty members. As Evergreen faculty members, we acknowledge that all of us who have power within the institution share responsibility for the racist actions of others. I'm going to read that sentence again. This is the first time I'm reading this, but I'm going to read that one more time just so we're all clear on what where their mind is at. We acknowledge that all of us who have power within the institution share responsibility for the racist actions of others. Furthermore,
How
okay.
how the fuck do I have responsibility for what anyone else does? Go, whoever said that, go fuck yourself.
Well,
Sorry, go
original sin. Original sin.
ahead.
Furthermore, those of us who are white bear a particularly large share of that responsibility. We acknowledge that we have a great deal of work to do in order to honor and live up to the demands made by student leaders during last week's protests. We acknowledge that students of color and others who are underrepresented and undeserved have been voicing their demands to us for some time, though the Students of Color Focus Group of 2014, through their participation in authoring the Strategic Equity Plan from November, in Cooper Point Journal coverage, for example, and we have not yet truly listened and acted. We acknowledge students' right to protest and affirm President Bridges' recent decision not to use the misguided language of the current Student Conduct Code to punish the protesters. We vehemently reject the claim that students have been violent simply because they have been loud and emphatic. There is a difference between exercising the right to freely voice an opinion and inciting violence, and that difference has nothing to do with volume or forcefulness. We support the demands made by students and honor the positive institutional change they have already achieved through their protests. Our most urgent demands below center on the safety of those individuals who are currently most at risk. At the same time, we acknowledge that in the weeks and months to come, our attention will need to turn to the larger structural issues students have identified. And here comes the list. In solidarity with students, we commit ourselves to, and remember, this is the staff speaking, the faculty. We commit ourselves to participating actively and self-critically in the annual mandatory training specified in the Memorandum of Understanding recently signed by the UFE and management bargaining teams. 2, holding each other accountable when we act in racist ways against our colleagues or our students, according to shared language and understanding developed in the trainings. 3, holding President Bridges accountable to the promises he made at the All-Campus Forum on May 26, 2017, and to the process of ongoing dialogue with student leaders. 4, actively supporting the strategic plan put forward by the Equity and Inclusion Council, including providing substantive support to the Vice President and President Provost of Equity and Inclusion, tasked with implementing and extending their work. Okay, and then we go to, in solidarity with students, we call for the Evergreen administration to 1, center student perspectives in a persistent media approach to counter the alt-right narratives that are demonizing Evergreen and Day of Absence specifically. 2, take seriously the threats made to individual community members and use all available institutional resources to protect them. And 3, demonstrate accountability by pursuing a disciplinary investigation against Brett Weinstein, according to guidelines in the Social Contract and Faculty Handbook. Weinstein has endangered faculty, staff, and students, making them targets of white supremacist backlash by promulgating misinformation in public emails, on national television, in news outlets, and on social media. We are angry and frustrated and concerned. We also believe, however, that if the college can muster a meaningful collective response to recent events, this can be a powerful lever for growth in student numbers, success, and equity, and for the future institutional change. We urge the administration not to lead with fear or a desire to suppress student voices. We urge them to let the energy and clarity of those voices carry us forward. In solidarity, the undersigned faculty, and there's about 50 names under here. That is the craziest little
the
red.
Moral of the story,
shit.
don't send your children to Evergreen College.
That read like something out of the Little Red Book.
That is fucking retarded.
That boggles my mind. It also boggles my mind that I was able to read that without any real mistakes.
Yeah, well done.
My sick voice pushes onward.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say there except for what the fuck are they thinking?
We take responsibility for the racist actions of others. Yeah.
I do want to clarify one thing he said, because he said that the speech wasn't violent. The speech was not violent. Blocking in that professor to where he couldn't get out,
or where the police couldn't get to him.
Yeah, that
they stopped
is
the police
violence.
from getting to him.
That is shit that they should be
expelled. That is holding someone against their will. You should all be expelled and then prosecuted because you are all now felons.
Yep. But otherwise, yeah, I agree with the speech is just speech. And if that had been all they did, there'd be no issue. What, babe? No,
Oh, is Lady Monkey here?
Yes, Lady Monkey's over there. Just press your power button. It should turn on.
Is she going
Yeah.
to be in the chat?
SDA wants to know if you're going to be in the chat. She said she might in a little bit. She's going to go look at things she's actually interested in for a while first.
Okay.
Uh-oh, guys. Guess who's with us tonight?
Who?
It's our favorite criminal. Florida Man.
Oh, Florida Man is my favorite.
Yeah.
Is Florida Man a thing now?
It's been a thing for a while. But it's new. It's
No,
relatively
I mean
new to a stream.
A stream thing. I know.
Yeah, it's a relatively new stream meme, but I think it'll persist.
You old
because
people don't have to explain memes to me. Jesus Christ.
I feel like we do now.
Yeah, I mean, we have to explain so much else to you, so I just default to believing you're ignorant about everything.
A lot of the stories we've been getting involve Florida Man, so he has kind of become a meme here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm enjoying it.
So this is from, and I hope I pronounce this right, C. Bernier or Bernier, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Let's see. Burglar gets comfy after break-in, steals TV, blanket, and milk. Anthony Bernard Hickey faces charges of grand theft, burglary, and damage to property after Infinite Energy was burglarized May 21st. Sheriff's deputies say a burglar made himself at home in a Gainesville business last month, stealing a carton of milk and a throw blanket. Anthony Bernard Hickey, 34, was arrested on charges of grand theft, burglary, and damage to property after Infinite Energy was burglarized May 21st, according to an Alachua County Sheriff's Office arrest report. Hickey, the arrest report says, used a rock to break a glass door to the business on Southwest 24th Avenue. A TV remote, a gray throw blanket, and a carton of milk, totaling $820 in value, were reported stolen. And he's being held in jail.
He stole milk.
I know.
That's so low.
I know. Not as low as stealing a dead guy's wedding ring, but you know.
Well, at least that guy was homeless and had a reason to need something.
Well, maybe this guy was homeless.
I'm just saying. It doesn't sound like it.
Staff reporter Jack Cochran sends us this one from the New York Post. This is a very long blog post kind of thing, so I'm only going to read the first paragraph or two. The headline, and this is written by Lolly Barr. I paid to cuddle with a quote-unquote boyfriend for 3 hours. As a single woman,
why is this a story?
This is from staff reporter Jack Cochran. It's got to be a story. As a single woman, casual sex is relatively easy to find. Pull out your phone, open any dating app, and inevitably there will be a list of eager guys bombarding you with modern equivalent of courtship, a winky face and several praying hands emojis. When you want it, sex is like an Uber. Sex like an Uber, is there, ready, willing, and available at a moment's notice. So you're probably wondering why any woman would pay a male escort. Well, there is the obvious, no strings attached loving with an out-of-your-league, hopefully generously endowed, charming stud muffin. But according to Ruben Copa, CEO of Rudeview, a new app that's been dubbed Uber for sex, women also book male escorts for the most elusive thing in dating land: connection and emotional intimacy, and they're willing to pay for it. Boyfriend experiences are more about company and companionship, and they tend to be longer appointments, he said. They will usually include dinner or a date, as well as some alone time. Yes, like escorts usually do. Known as... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So I won't lie. I would pay for a 3-hour hug from your boy, Pat. I bet he gives good hugs.
You heard it here first, folks. And if you want to try to fund this dream of monkeys, you might think about touching the $sign at the bottom of the chat window. And I mean touching.
Flick my bean.
Click. Yeah, touch that button. I don't think there's much more to read here other than...
Women are paying to be cuddled.
Yes, essentially.
That's the world we live in now.
I tell you what, if women are willing to pay for it and someone's willing to provide it, I'm all for it. Go for it.
Ugh, cuddling. Gross.
Do you cuddle with your dog?
Sort of.
Okay, so is cuddling all bad?
When it's with like another person, yeah,
Yeah.
it's summer. It's awful.
It's not
There's
always
not
bad.
enough AC in the world to make up for that.
Okay.
I'll cuddle in the shower.
Oh my
Then you don't get all
God.
sticky.
Oh, I can't use. Oh, that link is dead. Uh-oh. I'll have to try to. Is that link still dead? No. Okay, there we go. We have more Florida men.
Oh, sweet.
I
Oh,
had
before you get to
misfa-
that, thank you,
yes.
Daniel. Have you guys seen the documentary Adolf Hitler, The Greatest Story Never Told, 2013? Chat's going too fast. By Dennis Wise as the director. I have not.
No, I have not.
Is it something we should check out? And if so, why? Okay,
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
Tell me why. No, it's okay. The other Peterbilt Nation sends this to us. I already love the headline, and the pictures are even better because it looks like something out of a horror movie. Cannibals arrested in Florida claim eating human flesh cures diabetes and depression. And each of these guys looks like a reject from Charles Manson's cult. And in fact, one of them looks a little bit like Charles Manson. Okay, police in Vernal Heights, Florida, arrested 3 practicing cannibals who claim eating flesh cures both type 1 and type 2 diabetes and depression. According to Vernal Heights Chief of Police Gregory Moore, the 3 men were arrested when officers responded to what they assumed would be a routine noise complaint. Police arrived at 3845 Toulson Lane, the home of William Provost, at approximately 7:45 p.m. on Sunday evening in response to a neighbor complaining of strange sounds coming from the home. Responding officers told reporters that they assumed their visit to the house would be a quick one and they would simply be asking residents to keep the noise down. When officers arrived at 3845 Toulson Lane, they repeatedly knocked on the door and rang the doorbell. However, nothing could be heard over the sound of a stereo inside the house, repeatedly playing the same song, which was later identified as Enya's Who Can Say. I know that song.
Oh, wow.
I think I have the album of that. Was that Memory of Trees? Might have been. After attempting to get the attention of the homeowner via knocking and ringing the doorbell for approximately 5 minutes, police entered the home through an unlocked door located at the rear of the house. This is building up to something, I hope. The responding officers told reporters that the house had been extremely dark, cluttered, and an overwhelming smell, which was later identified as decomposing flesh, filled the home. Upon clearing the first floor of the home, the responding officers realized the blaring music was coming from the home's basement. According to the officers, a bizarre crime scene was quickly uncovered upon entering the basement. 3 men, which have since been identified as 62-year-old William Provost, 51-year-old Dennis Ratcliffe, and 36-year-old Michael Dorr, were sitting in a circle on the basement's concrete floor and ritualistically chanting while eating what police initially believed was an animal carcass, but was later identified as human remains. William Provost, who police believed to be the group's ringleader, admitted to practicing cannibalism and told officers, quote, "I find human flesh to be the only thing that cures my type 2 diabetes and chronic depression. If expensive pharmaceutical drugs helped, I would figure out a way to obtain them, but they don't, so I stick what works for me."
Yeah.
Upon searching, made several startling discoveries, including a large room that appears to contain nothing more than decades worth of clutter, but upon further inspection, police discovered human remains hidden throughout the old wooden furniture and broken appliances. Police also discovered a kitchen-style refrigerator located in a small room in the corner of the basement that contained the limbs, organs, and miscellaneous remains of what police believe to be upwards of 7 to 8 different individuals. Jesus Christ, this is a fucking horror movie.
It's easier for him to get bodies to eat than medicine.
Let's see. In addition to the refrigerator, the small room in the basement also housed a makeshift tool wall that contained a myriad of tools that police believe were used to dismember several victims. And they've got a picture of this thing. Jesus. Upon their initial investigation, police believe the 3 men have been practicing cannibalism for the past 3 to 4 years and largely remained under the radar due to their practice of targeting drifters they met at small dive bars located upwards of 100 miles from their Vernal Heights residence. Vernal Heights.
So these are not just cannibals; they're actually murderous cannibals. It's not like
they're serial killers.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, serial killers hiding, and they have a picture of the house, and the house looks. I mean, you cannot ask for a more sort of like plain-looking, normal, harmless-looking home.
And it said there were human
And-
remains among those chairs, so they're just leaving food everywhere.
Yeah, they're just leaving
That's
shit all
not
over the place.
sanitary.
Thank you, Monkey.
Real
Right.
quick,
I love
James,
you, Monkey.
I appreciate your helpful insight in this case.
I
That's what I'm
actually
here
do
for.
appreciate it. That's
I'm
the
here for
important
color
thing,
commentary.
Scribe.
Color
real quick,
commentary.
James Koch. For people of color commentary. James Koch, thank you for the donation. He said, will you do a commercial for Lucky Strike cigarettes? If they pay me money, I absolutely will. If you're looking for a commercial to be done, those are done on Scribe's channel when he hosts. And
Yeah.
that's his thing. And I don't want to steal that. But if you get a hold of the Lucky Strike company, if they're still making those, I'll do a commercial for them. I'm a whore.
All I gotta say is this sounds like the script to a horror movie. Everything
It
described
does.
here, it just like guys sitting in a basement doing some kind of ritual and eating human flesh, and they've been doing this as a group for a long time. The house on the exterior looks completely, I mean, it looks well tended. There doesn't seem to be anything kooky about it. Yeah, this is like Buffalo Bill kind of shit going on here.
I love that they got caught for playing an Enya song too loud.
Yeah, right.
How do you think he decided to try this? Because it's for his diabetes and depression.
Wilford Brimley. I don't know. Wilford Brimley
Okay.
made him to do it. I can't tell.
Sir Wolfgang, thank you for the donation. He said, what the fuck? This is some Texas Chainsaw Massacre shit. Yeah, it is.
There's going to be documentaries about this at some point.
Guys, my voice is failing me, and it's starting to hurt and strain to try to speak. So I think I'm going to refrain from reading anything else for the time being. I'll stay on the stream, but I'm going to have to let my voice rest a little bit.
And one of these days, we're going to have to just do a whole MSS news stream because we have so many now. Thank you guys so much for putting those out there. Let's see if we have another one that piques my fancy. Oh, wait, I have messages. I'll get to those in a minute. So this is what happens when I don't have a chance to look at things before we start. I do apologize for that. You did all the fun ones. You're an asshole.
I know. I've put myself in the corner. It's okay.
Yeah, you belong in the corner.
Everybody put
Scribe in the corner.
Everybody put Scribe in the corner.
Pastafarian photographed in driver's license wearing spaghetti colander on head. Okay. An Arizona man has won the right to express his religion on his driver's license photo after he said it would be discriminatory had he not been allowed to wear a colander on his head for the picture. Sean Corbett, 36, of Chandler, is a Pastafarian, a follower of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster.
Why is this news?
While I can appreciate the trolling there, go fuck yourself, dude. Actually, a picture of him not only wearing it, but smiling like a dumbass. Yeah, okay, we're done with news for today. We're going to move on to YouTube. Pastafarian, go fuck yourself. So, Scribbles, you talk too much. We're going to do you last. SDA, have you?
Do me last, baby.
That's right. SDA, did you work on a video today?
Nope.
Are you going to work on a video tomorrow?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't plan this stuff out.
Okay, that's fine. That's
So Scribe can stop sighing at me.
I know. Sorry,
he can sigh at you if he wants.
I wasn't sighing at you. I was just trying to breathe because my throat. So.
See, now you got to be nice. Got to apologize.
No, I'm not gonna apologize.
No, what you have to say is sorry, not sorry. That's how it works these days.
But I'm not sorry.
That's the whole. Yeah, never mind.
But I'm not sorry about not being sorry.
Okay.
So it doesn't apply.
Yeah.
I'm working on a few things. I'm actually going to, my next 2 videos are going to be response videos to people who responded to me. And that's actually where the right versus popular comes from in the title of this. Because one of the videos actually starts out by suggesting that because people disagree with me, and a lot of people disagree with me, that I should reconsider my stance. I have never, on whether or not I'm popular, on whether or not my opinion is popular, because popularity has jack shit to do with being right. And if you think it does, you're probably a moron who shouldn't be speaking in public because you're a follower. Deer or vegan responses. One of them actually is related to teal deer. The other one, what was it in regard to? Shit, I don't remember, but they'll be coming up here real soon. But the other great YouTube news for me is the comments that I have to read. Let me get back to those. I have a new fan. Mr. Michael Atwood replied on my Vegan Gains video, and we've had a little back and forth here. I'm going to start with him. He said, "I pray to God that someone rapes this monkey's mom and then slits her throat." To which I replied, "Don't forget to buy a t-shirt." He replied back, "Haha, no one is going to buy your cheap shirts, you faggot." To which I again replied, "A set of 4 mugs makes a nice present for friends and family." And here comes my favorite reply I think I've ever received, and I'm going to read it exactly how it's written. "I don't K is FU actually sell mugs, but I would love to smash your face with one of them. Who the fuck do you think you are that someone would want to buy your t-shirts and mugs? You fucking bitch. With that pussy passive-aggressive shit. I will PM you my address if you are down to fight. Let me know. I would love to just beat you senseless. PM me your address. I will even fly to you. Or if you don't want to give me your actual address, we can meet in a mutual destination close to you. I will fly to anywhere in the US. You're a faggot with all that passive-aggressive. I sell mug shit. You're a fucking pussy and a faggot." To which I replied, "You should buy 2 shirts and 8 mugs." So I just thought it was funny. And if somebody does want to, say horrible shit to me, please bring it on, because I could always use the material. But you want to beat a cripple? That's not very nice. I think you need more animal products in your diet to help with that. Yeah, and vegans, man, y'all need to relax. Damn. But that's all I got going on YouTube. Scribbles as quick as you can, because I know you did a video today.
Yeah.
Hope your voice relax.
So I posted what I've been talking about last couple of days, a video on a privilege walk, which was something I had no notion of prior to a video I did a few days ago that mentioned it offhandedly. Apparently, it's something that BuzzFeed did a version of at some point in the past. I had no knowledge of it, but this one in particular was held at a high school, seemingly, with staff and students. And the gist is that you stand in a line, shoulder to shoulder, and then someone reads aloud questions about certain aspects of your life. And depending on how you answer this question, you answer by either stepping forward or backwards from the starting point. Taking one step. So something like, if English is your native tongue or your first language, step forward, take one step forward. And then, if a parent has ever been laid off or unemployed, take a step backwards, and this kind of thing. And so they go through 22 questions of this, and people move back, forwards, and whatever. And at the end of this, is supposedly supposed to prove something, except that, as far as I can tell, and these questions are supposed to represent social privileges or disadvantages. As far as my count goes, 21 of the 22 questions involve things that are not privileges. The only one that made maybe some sense as a privilege was, are you attending or have you ever attended a private school? And I thought, okay, well, those are generally reserved for people who can afford them, which would mean you'd have to be in a specific tax bracket. So that could be considered a privilege, conceivably.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they go this back and forth. I respond to each of these 22 questions myself.
How far up did you get to go?
I wasn't taking steps. I wasn't taking steps.
Oh,
I was just critiquing each question because, I mean, in those instances where they applied to me or I could say something about it, like one of them was, do you rely on public transportation? Take a step back. And I was like, well, I don't own a car, so I do, but that's a social disadvantage because I take public transportation. There was one that said, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Say if they had asked, are you forced to take public transportation? I guess that would be a little different, but
the one that kind of stuck in my head was the one that said, have your parents ever been divorced? Take a step back. And I'm like, so when did divorce stop being a social stigma again? Wasn't that back in the 50s?
Late 60s, I would say.
Yeah, either way, 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever it is now.
Before it pops off the screen, thank you for the donation, Eric. Eric said, insert horrible shit to you here. Thank you.
And then after the walk is over with, they do interviews with some of the people who participated, and it's really sad, some of these answers these kids are giving. Like this one kid, they asked this Asian boy, were you surprised where you ended up in the line? And he said, or where did you end up in the line? He says, well, right smack dab in the middle. Probably because my being ethnic and my being male kind of cancel each other out.
Like, how we joke about that, like, got me, because we always joke about that, like, oh, if you're black and a guy, is it like cancer? And then he's like, yeah, so because I'm like an Asian and because I'm like a guy, it cancels. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's other people in there who are like, before I did this, I didn't know that I was so underprivileged. Or you had the faculty member, the one guy that did the interview, who I believe is like an art teacher or something. And you want to talk about someone who's living, seemingly, at least in the context of this video, wallowing in self-pity. This guy's the poster child, and it's just it just depressed me. I mean, yeah.
Doesn't the fact that somebody can say I didn't know I was so disadvantaged show they're not fucking disadvantaged?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's, and so
the other thing is that, sorry,
that's okay.
One of you go.
You can go. Fine.
No, go ahead, SDA.
One thing that kind of got me was that, I mean, okay, wasn't this at a private school?
It looked like it was at a high school, as far as I could tell. I can double check that, but it appeared to be at a high school.
It appeared to me to be a private school, and I think they mentioned some of the interviewees. Just from their uniforms, because I used to have to wear that.
Oh, maybe it is. Hold on a second. It's if I have it right correctly here, Campbell Hall School. Campbell Hall School is an independent coeducational K through 12 Episcopal day school.
Yeah, it's a private school.
Located studio. Okay, so it is a private school. I thought it was a high school. That's my mistake.
You have a bunch of kids at a fucking private school. Whether you're there because you were smart enough or athletic enough to get a scholarship, or whether your parents are paying for it, you're at a private school, which usually means that you're getting a better education than most of the people, or most of your peers. You're all privileged as shit. That's a privilege that your parents are able to pay for that, or that you're able to somehow do it. That's a privilege, and you should all be on the same exact line, because despite any other disadvantages, you're all at the same fucking private school. So shut the hell up. What's wrong with you? Be appreciative. Sorry. I just, like, that's so fucking stupid. The idea that you're at a private school, but you're so no, you're not.
Well, I guess the thing that bugged me the most was that these kids were being taught that aspects of their makeup were inherently bad, or inherently somehow made them disadvantaged. I mean, setting aside, whether or not they go to private school, that one kid's answer was that, because he's ethnic, that is somehow a disadvantage, that's somehow a step back from being male. And it was just so natural, these guys, just, and there's a couple people in there that were just Especially the people like, I didn't know that I was disadvantaged, or, I wasn't aware that I was as privileged as these other people and everything else. I'm just like, how is this not dividing and conquering? You look at the faces on the people that end up at the front of the line. You look at the people at the back of the line. This isn't educational. This isn't helpful to anything. This doesn't mean anything. 21 out of the 22 questions were just a bunch of bullshit that meant nothing. Like, my parents were divorced. Now I've got a scarlet letter on my head. I have to take the bus. Now I'm somehow a social outcast. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know. It just bugged me.
Zenith, thank you for the donation. Zenith said, if I ended up at the front, I would moon the others and shout, "Suck it, peasantry." I think that's a sign of privilege.
To those kids, you quit worrying about whether or not you have privilege and be thankful for the educational opportunity that you have and use it, because a lot of people don't get that.
But you're missing the point. This has been the point of political correctness since the beginning, is that everybody has, a disadvantage they have to overcome. They can't be grateful because life is beating them down. Slightly Salty, thank you for the donation. Learn how to use your white privilege with these 6 easy tricks. Yeah. It's just stupid horseshit. I'm so over this kind of stuff.
I won't be doing any other videos for next couple of days at least, because until my voice evens out again. So
yeah, I don't blame you. How's it feeling? I mean, is it painful or?
So day one, the day before yesterday's Darth Vader voice or whatever, it was just a hurtful patch in the back of my throat and my voice was normal. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, my voice was really deep and my throat ached a little bit. Today, it's sort of like a pulled muscle in my throat. So I feel compelled to talk quieter and slower because it's uncomfortable and it feels like I might lose my voice at any moment. So I'm not sure I'm going to make it through the entire stream, guys. Honestly, I'm starting to wear out. I want to go stand in a steamy shower and breathe in some vapors for a while because it is uncomfortable. So I'll try to hold on for a bit, but I may bow out sooner or later.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and open it up to chat now, unless there was anything else anybody had about YouTube? Doesn't seem to be. Chat, if you guys have questions, comments, things you want us to talk about, donations you'd like to throw at the monkey, now's your time. If you have a question, make sure you throw a question mark at the end so we can identify it as a question. Do y'all think this intersectional feminism is getting worse or better overall? I think it's quite visibly getting worse. If you just look at what happened at Evergreen College, I mean, the shit is everywhere now. I've talked about this before. So many people on YouTube have talking about how the social justice has been beaten. It's not on YouTube as much anymore. And Trump did win the election, but it is still pretty much taking over America.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but when you can have 50 students trap a professor and then block cops from getting to that professor to make sure that he's okay, and they face no fucking consequences, this stuff is not only still there, it is rampant. They have literally taken over this school. This is ridiculous. And, if you were to hold anybody else against their will under any other circumstance, you would at the very least be arrested. And these kids should be arrested and they should be expelled. You can't just kidnap somebody. What's wrong with you? Sorry, I'm just...
There's no indication that they are losing any ground in the overall public sphere.
Yeah, and between Evergreen State College and it seems so lopsided at times in a way, because the kids at Evergreen State are getting away with this stuff effectively. I mean, the there's media coverage of it, but it's not to the extent you would think with essentially a hostile takeover of a state college. And then on the flip side, Kathy Griffin gets completely, and depending on how your viewpoint is, deservedly lambasted by everybody for doing something that is anti-Trump to the nth degree. I don't know where things sit, because there seems to be some kind of invisible line that you can go as far as holding a riot in a city and have it called an uprising or a resistance or something. But then you do something as, what Kathy Griffin did was comparably mild compared to some of the things we've seen the protesters or some of the other activists do. But she gets completely torpedoed while these kids get a pass.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my brain's fuzzy or something. I just don't quite get it.
For one thing, social justice owns academia, which is why this president isn't like, hi, local police force, I have a problem, help. He's just like, oh, okay, if you would like to just completely take over the college and commit felony, that's fine. That's fine. And then the other thing you have to keep in mind is that when it comes to these riots and things like that, people have freaked out, but Kathy Griffin is one person, and it's easy to yell at one person than to yell at a massive group of people.
Yeah, but you can yell at the college, and I'm very interested to see if Evergreen has the same problem that Missouri ended up with enrollment in the upcoming years.
Oh, of course they will. I mean, maybe the other thing too is that with colleges and with big cities, maybe we just expect them to throw massive fits and riots and destroy their own cities. And maybe we just expect colleges to have stupid shit like this happen, and it's sort of like a terrorist attack. It's like, are there massive amounts of people burning things down? Yeah, right, whatever. Are the crazy kids doing stupid shit at college again? Okay. Did the Muslims blow somebody else up? All right.
I can kind of see that, I guess. But yeah, no, social justice is not going anywhere. It's still winning the culture war right now. What else do we have here? Have I missed anything? That's my did I miss anything music. Ed says he hasn't exactly seen much praise for Evergreen, and I would agree with you there. But if you look at how the professors there are responding, especially with that little note that Scribe read earlier, it's not like in the college the kids are going to face any consequence for the shit they did. They're being treated as though they had a relevant complaint, and their complaint is that a professor didn't want white people kicked off campus for a day.
What I can't help but draw a comparison to with what we saw in those videos of the college president sort of capitulating left, right, and center to these kids. It's sort of like a mirror reversal of the situation in, say, as an example, North Korea. Whereas in North Korea, you have a single individual oppressing an entire population to his whim and restricting what information gets to them, etc., and cowing them to his will. In the reverse here, you have the population cowing the leader to their will, which, in a democracy, you would think would be the good thing. The whole thing, the people should not fear their governments, government should fear their people, unless their people are absolutely batshit crazy. So I don't, it's a really odd thing to watch with those videos. And some of the, I know Christina Hoff Summers reposted something that Campus Reform put up today about, I think it was a group of teachers. It might even be the teachers or faculty that were writing that letter, and how they were surrounded and basically held captive in order to meet the demands of all these kids and everything.
Ed said, and college nonsense doesn't translate to the real world. These kids are absolutely fucked. I feel you, but what you have to understand is that academia, while it is infuriating, matters. The kids who are doing this are not the kids who have any ambition of getting a job in the private sector. These are kids that want to go on to work for the government, that want to go on to work for the city or do some sort of community organizing. They will never step outside of that academia sphere. And academia does matter. So while the rest of us who have actual lives can look at this and go, this is bullshit, what you have to understand is that this important bubble of academia is not going to get popped.
Well, and you also have to understand it's not just the people that you just described. The social justice college courses are being forced on kids no matter what they take.
Yeah.
It's part of the core curriculum now. So it's literally just being beaten into their heads. And some do reject it, and some will eventually grow up, but a lot of them, if you go back to look at where all of this started, all of the social justice nonsense started in colleges back in the 60s.
Yeah.
And then the 70s. If you look at the books that your social justice warriors talk about, they were all written in the 70s and 80s. This shit has been festering for a while.
Just to respond to Ed, academia matters. I'm just saying I don't get this. I don't get this is a great argument for SJWs currently winning. It's falling apart. Also, industry matters too. But it's not in academia. It's not falling apart. In fact, they're doubling down, as you can see, and it's gonna take. It would take getting these kids arrested and kicking them out and having actual consequences for the things that they're doing that are illegal or are worth, expelling a student for. And I don't know. I don't see that happening. Maybe it will, but for right now, it's going to take something bad happening. I think it would take a professor actually getting seriously injured or even killed.
See, I don't think that would change it either. I think in the day we're in now, that would be blamed on the professor. That's just the world we live in now.
Yeah, I don't know what it would take, but
Ed, you and me can argue about this on a stream sometime.
Yeah.
You can keep answering. I'm sorry.
Well, no, because I do think that it's a victory for social justice that the kids, that the teachers and the president are into this, and even the other professors are calling for their colleague to be fired. That is a win for social justice.
Well, look at C16 up in Canada. This Jordan Peterson was lambasted for saying that forced speech is wrong, and I mean, I don't see how you can look at what's been going on and think that they're losing in any way. I really don't, especially when you consider, yes, Trump did win, but he did lose the popular vote. That is very important. Thank you, Slightly Salty. It seems like you can commit, you can commit crimes as long as it's in the name of social justice. Absolutely. And they'll blame the victim every time and then whine about victims being blamed. Ranting Monkey, if most of the SJW narratives, academic SJWs in particular, are based on Marxism, is it not them following the whims of a cis white male? Yes. Fair point. Fair point. I am running through these. There's been a lot of comments, guys. I'm not meaning to miss anybody here.
You only miss because your aim is off.
I always do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've missed if there's any questions. So if you have more, please ask them again. I do apologize. Why not have these SJWs do a DNA test of their genealogy? Guarantee all of them will grow the fuck up. I don't think it would. I think they would use that as a point to claim more oppression. The Triggerati asks if I'm feeling better today. No.
You know, the only way we're going to actually stop these social justice guys from eating themselves alive is if they're playing Enya music.
Nice. Monkey's take on the Alamo Draft House. I think it's a minor thing, but I do hope they get sued because it's blatant discrimination. I hope somebody just has some fun fucking with them over it. SDA, do you experience fall or deal with? I'm not sure what you meant to say there. I think somebody's asking if you deal with SJW stuff at your school or in classes.
Of course I do. Yeah, absolutely. I go to a school that, I go to a school that is super into its diverse student body, and they push diversity so much that they bring in kids who are not ready to be in college, only to have them drop out after 1 to 2 years, just so that we can maintain, diverse numbers. So yeah, I go to a pretty SJW laden school.
Irate asks, what's going on with my physical health? I have a permanent damage to my spinal cord in my neck, so my whole body is just, it has days where it just sucks. Why did you block me sending you money? I didn't. If you're blocked, that would be YouTube doing it. I'm a whore. I'll take all your money.
Yay, money.
Ed points out that before SDA blew up, that she showed some of the videos of her gender, whatever class. You kind of live streamed it.
I live streamed it, and so that you guys could hear it, I did live stream the day after the election. Boy, that was interesting. But I could get in serious trouble for that, so they're unlisted.
Emperor Vulcan asked what I think would give SJWs a good smake. I'm assuming smack. Real life is the only thing that's going to fucking help these kids. They need to be thrown into real life. Have to deal with it.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No,
the
go ahead.
other thing to keep in mind about they need real life is that they're not going to get it, because these are kids who are activists, and I've seen it in my own school. What they do with these kids who are super into social justice is they give them things like degrees in criminal justice, public health, something like that. And they end up, like I said, either working for the government or working for some nonprofit. So they never have to life.
Well, they will have to life in the fact that they're going to have to pay their bills one day. They're going to realize that somebody misgendering you is shit compared to not being able to pay the light bill. What usually happens with kids, and I'm not meaning to insult any young folks, but what usually happens is that eventually you get into real life and all of this shit that seemed to matter doesn't when you're having to take care of yourself. Them having a job is not going to stop them from having responsibilities in life. Stop coddling the kids. Absolutely, the Jack Cochran. Monkey, SJWs will stop when they protest a college football game? No, we saw that in Mizzou.
Yeah.
They actually got rewarded for it.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to work to find a way to continue this kind of insulation from reality as long as possible. They're going to work for the school, or work for like SDA was saying, work for nonprofits, work for the government, guilt their way into institutions, or create institutions wherein they can act as leaders, fighting the good fight. Like the video I did the other day on the lady who started Girls Who Code.
Yeah.
She gets paid $225,000 a year to do what? She doesn't even know how to code. She made a point of not knowing how to code in their little speech. If you can set yourself atop a morally righteous cause, and all you have to do is go around and talk, or use rhetoric that would tend to suggest that you're doing something productive for the little people, people will throw money at you right now. I mean, it's not going to last, but it's a lucrative business if you can get into it now. It's sort of like the .com boom. anybody who starts up a social justice network with anything that looks like credibility, like Black Lives Matter is getting a peace prize for crying out loud. Just now is the time. If you're going to try to make as much hay and get as much given to you for free as possible under the guise of rectitude, this is the time to do it, because it's not going to last forever.
The thing is, there's a finite amount of top positions. Most of the people are going to be barely scraping by, and not everybody's going to come out with that $200,000. I absolutely agree with you that there are those positions, and some people will get taken care of. But
like I said, it's
kids,
it's the .com boom. I mean, right now there's a glut of groups and movements and everything else, and inevitably only a few will survive the war, so to speak. Like Black Lives Matter's probably got the tippy toppest forever and ever and ever. But anybody subsequent to that, that's where the blood's in the water and the sharks are fighting right now for the scraps. So.
Well, the other thing that we have to keep in mind too is that they don't even have to leave school, really. No, a lot of these kids will probably just stay in literal academia forever.
What else you guys got for us? What else do you want to hear about right now? What do you want to? Do you want Scribe to read the period piece again?
Oh God,
that made my night yesterday. I just want to throw that out there.
I listened to that again earlier today when I was at work in the morning, and even I grossed myself out listening to that one again.
I thought that was awesome. I enjoyed it so much.
I got some compliments though. Like so I forget who it was. Somebody put a timestamp to where that starts, or the 50 Shades of Grey reading starts in the video, and says, before you click this link, get an extra pair of panties ready.
Nice.
Yeah, something like that. I was like, okay, well,
Sean
I'll
Lee
take
says
that.
Sounds like a bloody disaster. Well played. Is there cuddling in 50 Shades of Grey? Yes.
Ew.
There actually is. Very little, but there is some cuddling in there.
Cuddling is
which is
worst.
why at one point in the famous line, "I'm 50 shades of fucked up," makes no sense in that whole book or movie, because she asked him, "Why am I never allowed to touch you?" And that's his answer. Meanwhile, she's been touching him the whole goddamn time. It's just so fucking stupid.
Somebody brought up the Paris Accords, and one of the comments in last night's video was asking why we didn't actually read out the accord to try to describe what it is and what it does. That was a good point. I should have done that, because what are we actually fighting over? And it seems to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to be a glorified gentleman's agreement. And it's not binding in the sense that you're breaking the law, and it doesn't either prevent nor mandate companies or people from either doing things that are good or bad for the environment necessarily.
Yes, kind of. There's no right now legal attachment to it, but it does require you to take certain steps, and you get to decide on those certain steps. Real quick, one of the reasons we didn't read that is because I don't want to bore the fuck out of everybody. I absolutely encourage you to read it yourself, or at least a synopsis of it from somebody you trust. Thank you, Snowstorm. Scribe, will you be my sub? Scribe's a dom.
That is damn true. No, sorry.
But it does require you to take certain steps to make things better. The goal being a reduction of 2005 levels of emissions, I think by 26 to 28%, I believe is what it is. 26 to 28% of what 2005 levels were. But it's not like the Kyoto Treaty where there was actual punishments for not meeting them. In that same day, yeah, it's kind of a gentleman's agreement, but you are still expected to do these things. Going to work?
Yeah.
Bye, bud. Love you. Drive safe.
Yeah, but the point is that even if the U.S. isn't involved in it officially, there's nothing to say that a private corporation can't follow along with the accord, or a private individual couldn't follow along with the accord. I mean, I seriously doubt that companies are going to try to expand their carbon footprint just because of the bad PR of it.
Well, there's a couple of things to it. There's $100 billion investment in third world countries to help them rise up without making a huge carbon impact.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that, whether there's, punishments for not doing your own or not, there's a lot of money being thrown at it. And there are, since Donald Trump said he was pulling out of this, 3 states have made a coalition. I forgot what they call it, but where they've decided they're still going to abide by the Paris Accords.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, nobody's being stopped from doing it, but Trump just said, you know what, this is a stupid idea. We're not doing it. And again, I don't care if you're for it or against it. I do recommend reading it, or like I said, getting a synopsis so you know what you're talking about here. But I have no problem with him pulling out, because like Kyoto, it doesn't really fucking do anything. All it does is move money around, and that's what a lot of climate stuff is. If they were serious about climate change, there's much better ways to do it. Much more meaningful ways. What are we congratulating Colton for? What did I miss? Oh, he's talking about his private life. We're not going to put that out on the stream. But congratulations. Hey, love. Sorry, I'm like massively late. Yes, you are, Mara. We missed you. Because of you, we're failing.
Of course, you're massively late. You're pregnant.
Crikey.
Be nice.
I don't do it as well as you. Crikey.
Crikey. Yeah.
Oh man. So why don't we go ahead?
Oh, is this Jacob Navo says, Scribe, do you hate Nick Spencer? Who's Nick Spencer? I don't, because I don't know who it is, so it's hard to hate somebody that I don't know. But I generally don't hate anybody, because hate is just okay. Well, good for you. Who's Nick Spencer?
No fucking idea.
So you hate people you don't know and have no idea of.
Yes.
Wow. You're. Are you sure you shouldn't be like the raging monkey?
No, just the ranting monkey. I got a lot of compliments for actually ranting at the end of the gender video.
Oh, yeah.
After I went through it, I just went on a little rant there.
Nick Spencer writes Secret Empire. Oh, well, I haven't read anything about the Secret Empire stuff. As far as I'm concerned, Ed Brubaker was the best Captain America writer, hands down, of the modern era. Captain America Goes Hydra thing, I've stayed so far away from mainstream comic books lately that I don't care. It'll all be reset and overwritten and retconned sooner or later. They already had that one character, America, whatever her last name is, go back in time and steal Captain America's Hitler punch from him. Marvel in general is just. I abandoned Marvel when the whole Spider-Man clone saga really kicked into gear, because it was the dumbest, convoluted, just ridiculous plot line they ever introduced, and it waved me off comics. What they're doing now in general over at Marvel, the comic books at least, is completely waving me off from ever wanting to go back. Punisher Max is pretty much the only series out of Marvel that I'll pay any attention to right now.
Daniel had donated earlier about asking if we'd seen The Greatest Story Never Told, Adolf Hitler, The Greatest Story Never Told, and I'd asked him if we should. He said the media spun certain topics, and this will question and maybe change your mind about what happened in World War II. I will look for it, but I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
Scribe, did you see V's video on Marvel cartoons?
I did not, no. Sorry. I actually don't get a lot of time to watch other videos these days. The last several weeks in particular with work stuff has just got me all discombobulated all over the place. And then when I get home, I'm either working on one of my own videos or relaxing in prep for stream time. And so actually I've been out of the loop on a lot of the usual channels I used to watch, because now that I make my own videos, it's kind of like part of me doesn't want to have my opinions accidentally informed by somebody else's opinion before I say something about something. Even
Yeah.
even if I cover topics or videos that generally aren't covered by other people, the subject matter itself is something that's kind of a common theme in other people's work. And so, yeah, I try to avoid that kind of stuff now, or at least that's my reflex.
Heavy Fisted asked me if I got the computer issues, new gear taken care of before the apocalypse happened. Yes, I did. And thank God, because holy shit, the adpocalypse was bad.
I guess I sort of have book news.
Oh.
I posted on Twitter a poll because I'm trying to figure out, I don't know why I can't figure out a title of this fucking book, but I am having one hell of a time doing it. So I was thinking about it all day today and came up with something. So it's pinned on my Twitter. It'll be up for 2 days. If like you hate it, that's fine. Because I don't know how I feel about it yet, but go for it. Just
What's the title?
I don't even like want to say it out loud. That's how much I don't know if I like it or not.
Well, that's not a good or bad thing, but the first thing I thought of was the name of a particular actress that I'm familiar with from my earlier years of things. But I guess it would depend on if I had a better idea of what the story was about, I guess.
Dark Ginger.
Well, the name of it is just the name of the town that all 3 books are in.
That's not a bad way to go.
Yeah, I think it would need something else, like maybe a subtitle or something like.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like like.
You can say it. I don't want to say it. It feels weird.
Like Silverstone Stories, : and then some subtitle to it. And Silverstone Stories this and Silverstone Stories that.
Speaking of polls, last night I put up a poll asking whether or not, or what Scribe sounds like with his cold. And the results are final now. 19% said you sound like me.
Okay.
19% said you sound like Undoomed. And 62% said SDA is drunk.
I like
For
that.
those of you who missed it, SDA being drunk would be saying Scribe sounds like TJ Kirk.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, Chatmort said you wouldn't be an author if you didn't feel like cringing until you turn inside out. Yeah, I know. It's because it's really not that bad, but I don't know why I'm having such a problem with this. Usually with naming things, I'm usually pretty quick to figure something out, but
no, you just need to call it. You need to call it Dark Ginger, the Sullen Seductress.
But there's not even anybody. I don't think. Well, no, there's one redhead. Nobody else is a ginger.
Well, so I mean, what's the arc of the first book? Because I'd go like Silverstone Stories : something, whatever it is, like some kind of generalized thing about the first book story, and then go on. Like, because if it's going to be like a series and a trilogy, you want to have a linking name to it all. That's what I'd say.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what I want to do because I have a title in mind for the second book. But
yeah, so there you go. You say you have a title for the series, and then you have subtitles for the books.
I've got a subtitle for the second book, but I don't know about this one because my problem is that it sort of gives almost anything I could put there gives part of the plot away.
Not necessarily.
And
you don't have to.
Well, yeah, I know I don't have to. That's what I have to figure out. Like, what words can I put there that's not.
Well, chat with me
exactly
after.
What happens?
Yeah, chat with me on DMs and stuff, and I spend a lot of time with my titles trying to find something that's catchy that doesn't give everything away. I like brainstorming titles and things. So maybe.
Yeah, I really like the title of the second one. I'm not going to say it because it gives stuff away about the first one, but the second one I like because it's sort of a shitposty one and it makes me happy.
So why don't we do last call, guys? And last call to have us talk about stuff. Hi, Base Mama. Good to see you.
Hi, Mama. How is the Emperor of Kekistan, Mama? I used to do a lot of photo memes about baby emperor, the emperor baby, and I've kind of fallen by the wayside on that recently. So, but I hear that she's going to be appearing in a sexy calendar of YouTube ladies in the near future, which I may just have to invest some money in because, I like sexy ladies because I like to oppress them with my eyes.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Snowstorm says, hey guys, Copper Cab is a troll, right? I don't think anyone can be that retarded. Yes, Copper Cab is a troll.
That's like the cutest message we've ever gotten.
Mm.
Aw.
Sims 3 doesn't run on my laptop, too laggy. Oh, you need to get a better laptop. Sims 3 is life. That's the best one. Before they turned it into that Facebook shit it is now. Dun, 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 dun.
I vote for SDA for December because she's cold.
What does that even mean?
So, like I said, they're doing a calendar, a sexy ladies calendar of YouTube.
Oh.
And so you've been nominated to be December because you're cold.
Well then, nothing else seems to be popping up. So what do you say we wrap this one up, guys?
All right.
Chat, thank you guys so much for coming. Nations tonight and for showing up every time we do one of these. You guys are awesome. SDA, Scribe, thank you so much for joining me as always. And Scribe, I hope your voice gets a little bit better for you.
Appreciate
Excuse me. Guys, your life makes me sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.